Every single day, 150,000 people die. Maybe not you, maybe not me, not yet. But one day we'll all be part of that number. The strange thing is, most of us live as if that's not true. We plan our next trip, we plan our next meal even, we plan our next goals. But we almost never think about the most certain thing of all, death. And for most of my life, I was exactly like that. Always looking ahead, never looking deep. Until one day, it hit me. That realization didn't make me hopeless, don't get me wrong. It opened my eyes to reality. It gave my life more meaning, clarity, and direction. In this video, I want to share the moment that changed how I see life, a simple exercise you can do to feel the same shift, and a common trap to avoid while seeking that change. So let's start at the beginning. I grew up in a Christian household, so the theme of death was always around me. But I never really thought about it, not seriously at least. Ironically, it wasn't religion that made me face it. It was philosophy actually. A few years ago, I enrolled in an online philosophy course. And in one of the first classes, the teacher said something that completely stopped me. It was something like this: to truly live, you must constantly remember that you're going to die. At first it sounded cliché, almost dramatic, but then he explained why. If you forget that you're mortal, you lose all sense of priority. You forget who you want to become before your time here runs out. And that idea hit me really hard. Because I realized this one thing. I never really asked myself that question. Who do I want to be when I die? I had been living as if life was endless, drifting from one immediate goal to the next, hoping that one day meaning would magically just catch up somehow to my life. But that's impossible, because without awareness of death, there is no sense of urgency, and without urgency, there is no meaning. Before you can even ask that question though, who do I want to be when I die? There is something you must watch out for. I call it the desolation trap. It's something I fell right into when I first started reflecting on death. It goes like this. You realize that life is short and that you could die tomorrow, and all of a sudden, your mind twists that thought into something really dark.
I'm not sure of anything anymore.
If I might die soon, why plan for anything? Why not just enjoy today and forget everything else? It's very seductive because it sounds like freedom, but it's actually despair disguised as freedom. Living like that turns you into an animal chasing the next pleasure. And if you do live 50 more years, you realize that you've wasted every single day of your life. The way out of the trap is not to deny death, that's not it, but instead to plan your life as if you live long and meaningfully. That's what I did at least, while remembering that each day is precious. Then, and only then, the real question finally makes sense. Who do I want to be when I die? When I first tried to answer that question, I went for the naive approach. I imagined my perfect future. Being a millionaire, owning a big house, living in a nice place with my family, maybe even being a genius. But when I wrote it down, it felt empty, like if I was just listing what other people expected me to want. That's when I discovered an exercise that completely changed my perspective on this. It's called the Obituary. It's simple, but it's very deep. The philosopher who taught the course I mentioned earlier introduced this exercise to me. And it was this exercise alone that helped me stop wasting time on meaningless stuff and start focusing on what really mattered to me. Here's how it works in 3 easy steps. Step number 1. Find a quiet place. No music, no phones, no distractions. Grab a pen and paper. Yes, pen and paper. I know, but I still believe this is the best way to do it. Step number 2. Imagine you just died, but you live a complete, meaningful life. Not necessarily a rich one, that's not what I'm talking about, but a fulfilled one. Don't think about what job you had, what house you owned, how many followers you had. Those things can vanish in a second. Think about instead what kind of person you became. Were you brave, honest, a loving father, a very loyal friend? That's what I'm seeking here. Step number 3. Now imagine your best friend, someone who truly knew you, is writing your obituary, the short text people wrote in the newspapers when someone died. What would they say about you? How did you live? What moments defined you? What would they thank you for? For me, when I first tried this, it sounded something like this. Emmanuel died at the age of 75. He was a good father, a loving husband, brave when it mattered, fair with everyone, passionate about the truth, etc. You get the idea, right? And please don't get confused about this. You don't need to be a famous person. You can be a complete unknown and still have lived a meaningful life. And one thing I would consider is to aim for a single page text. Not too long, not too short. Keep it honest. Writing that down changed me. Because for the first time, I could really see the person I wanted to become. Not just the life I wanted to live or the things I wanted to have. I could see my completely developed personality in the end.
Wait a minute! Who are you?
The reason this exercise works is simple. It becomes your inner compass. When you remember that death is real and that time is limited, every decision you take starts to look different. Before your every act, you can ask yourself now one question. Is this action I'm about to take bringing me closer to the person I want to become? Or is it pushing me further away? If it's the first one, go for it. If it's the second one though, pause, think again. That's what I do. Living with that mindset has changed everything for me. In the last few years, I believe that I've achieved more and been more at peace thanks to this exercise and this mindset than in the many years that came before I discovered this. Now you might think something like this. Bro, that's easy for you to say. You don't have my shitty job, you don't have my bills, you don't have my family, you don't have this or that, my struggles, whatever problems I have. Sure, I'm not saying life is easy, huh? My life isn't easy either. And this thing is not about perfection. It is not about becoming your ideal self overnight. It is about leaning towards that self, even if it's just by a little bit. This is what I call the 51% rule. If you can live 51% of your life as the person that you want to be, brave, kind, curious, fair, honest, whatever there is for you, you are already winning. Because in the end, that 51% will have mattered more than anything else. It means that you steered your own life, the world didn't do it for you. In the end, remembering I'm going to die hasn't made me fearful, it has made me free. Free from chasing things that don't matter, free from trying to be everything for everyone, free to focus on what really counts, that 51% that actually defines who I am. Because one day, whether it's tomorrow or decades from now, that day will come. And when it comes, I don't want to look back and see a life shaped by running away from the truth. I want to see a life shaped by truth itself. While we can't control how long, we can for sure control how truly we live.
You see, George, you really had a wonderful life.
So, write down your obituary, ask who you want to be when you die, and start living that way today, even if it's just by 51%. Because in the end, that might just be enough.